Well, happy Valentine's to all of you at home. And on this Valentine's Day, we want to share the story of a local couple whose love has stood the test of time. As Q13's Jamie Tompkins and photojournalist Scott Hobson show us, it takes a solid foundation to remain planted in promise.
A fresh bloom in the middle of winter can hold so much promise.
But if you have a garden and you're tending to the garden, then those roses could thrive.
But something so delicate requires a solid foundation.
They still hold hands, they still take care of each other, and they're a very good example.
It's here in the Rose Garden at Woodland Park Zoo where Berlyn and Eleanor first crossed paths.
There was a special picnic between the church that had set up between people in the Navy and locals, and essentially they sat across from each other at a picnic bench, and that was the first time they laid eyes on each other, and then ran into each other maybe 6 months later and recognized each other from that picnic, and things took off from there.
She sang with a group at the Gowan Hotel, and I used to go down Saturday night and listen to them. I guess that's kind of how we got acquainted.
I have a good singing voice, and I was in this group, and he came down to see every Saturday night. And I thought, wow, that's something that he comes so often.
Nearly 99 years old, and Eleanor still loves to perform. And at 96, Berlyn is still her biggest fan.
And my grandma always just looks at me with this big, bright smile on her face and says, you know, he still calls me sweetie. And he does. He takes wonderful, wonderful care of her, and they love each other, and it's really sweet. I can only hope for that.
Berlyn and Eleanor recently celebrated 75 years of marriage.
We wanted to do something special, but we realized because of COVID, it's a little bit limited in what we can do.
So the family brought them back to their roots, honoring their love in the very spot it bloomed.
I mean, a tree represents life, so there's that, and just enduring over the years. I think a tree is a good representation.
But welcome to the 75th wedding anniversary celebration.
Their family tree is still growing. 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. Meeting their newest bloom, baby Belle, in the garden where it all began.
And it's amazing because of their union together, their family that they've created. Belle wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that moment of them meeting in the Rose Garden. So that's a very special thing to think how, the impact that one little interaction can have.
And now we look at their relationship over the course of 75 years, and we hope that for our own family.
Yeah.
And we're always talking about Eleanor and Berlyn
as examples,
as an example for our relationship, saying how can we make it 75 years together.
Yeah.
It requires a solid foundation for something so delicate.
I've always thought a relationship is like a rose petal.
To survive the elements,
For better or for worse,
and weather the storms.
through sickness and in health, to be there for this person.
75 years of marriage, and Berlyn and Eleanor remain planted in their promise.
I think it's kind of the basis of a good relationship. We just love one another. Persisted for 75 years.
What a special way for their family to honor them, too, and for Woodland Park Zoo to give them their own special spot there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful rose garden there, and I'm just so happy to see them celebrating themselves, especially during everything that's happening. But there's so much to be inspired. They're such an inspiration because she's 99 years old, and she looks great.
Yeah.
And 75 years of marriage, I mean, that's incredible. David, you and I are both married. We both, just hope that we can make it 75 years together and just pray that we can live that long, number one.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if I do, but happy if I do. No, it's great. So that's a great Valentine's Day story for you, and happy Valentine's Day, everyone. We'll be right back.